So, welcome once again to What's Arising. This episode's going to be a little bit different than the others because this is about 3 dreams that I had about a week ago, a week before recording this video. And they're quite prophetic dreams in a sense. And I think there's a lot of good information for all of us in these dreams. Certainly was for me as I understood the meaning of them. And they're also more of a confirmation of what I already knew. Stay around for the explanation of the last dream, because that's where the promise is, that's where the hope is, and that is where I'm inviting all of us to go, including myself, to pay attention to the third dream and the creation of the third world. So there'll be one world, a second world, and a third world, that these dreams all that came right together, one after the other, all connected about a week ago. So hope you get something out of this particular podcast. Once again, before I start, I will ring my bowl so that we can get into the energy and relax and become fully present. I invite you to get connected with yourself, connected with the world, all of creation, connected with your dreams. Dreams. Some years ago, I used to analyze my dreams, and I stopped, and since then, I really don't remember very many dreams unless I pay attention to them. And last week, I had 3 dreams early in the morning, one right after the other. I went to sleep, I woke up again, had another one, went back to sleep, woke up again, and they were all connected together. And they all seemed important to me to look at. And they weren't so wacky like some dreams of like, how in the heck am I going to figure out that dream? It wasn't like that. It seemed to be a connective thread here that I could probably understand the symbolism. And again, they seemed important. And let me share those dreams with you one at a time. And then I'll look at how I see these dreams and the meaning behind these dreams if you don't get it just from me sharing what the dream was. So the first dream, I am in South Africa, but I'm not outdoors in South Africa. I'm not on the savannah or anything like that. I am in this mall area, this business mall, this covered area would have had lots of businesses in it, and at one point very vibrant and healthy, this human construction, but in the dream it was dark, it was derelict, it was run down, there were hardly any people walking around. It was quite depressing. It was disintegrating, this mall. There was a few shops there, but not so alive. Like I say, it was dark. We went, myself and my friend, down to the end of the mall, and down at the end of the mall, there was this doorway, and we knew there was a concert in there. So we opened the door, we went in, the music was playing, and there was some color. There was some song and some harmony, and a great concert by a jazz band or something like this, with a couple of great singers, jazz or the blues, I can't remember what it was. And it was so good that my friend ordered a couple tickets and got a couple tickets for her friends to invite them back there at another stage. But for the most part, that was the only real cover or color in this mall. All the only real excitement, happiness was closed away in one small corner of this derelict mall that was human constructed, not nature. There was no nature there. It was a dilapidated old building. During that part of the dream, I also, knowing I was in South Africa, knew I needed some money, so I went and bought a bunch of rand. I traded my money to get rand. Rand is the dollar equivalent to the dollar in Canada or United States, or the euro. They call it a rand. So I got a wad of those, like a huge wad of rand in my exchange, and put that in my pocket. So then I woke up. I remembered the dream and thought, oh, that's a strange dream. And I assumed I'd forget it, and I went back to sleep again. In the second dream, I am actually in Calgary, Canada, and I'm going into the IBM building. Now, no accident that IBM was there. I used to work for IBM for about 13 years, but here I am at the IBM building, a new building, and I'm going in, and there's really tight security to get in. Myself and my friend are trying to go in, and it's just awful. At the door, everything was checked, full body scan. I had to give them my wallet. They flipped through my wallet and recorded everything in there. And I still had my wad of rand from the previous dream, interesting enough, from South Africa. And they took that, counted that, and I assumed confiscated the rand and took it away. And finally led us into this building. And the IBM building was stark and completely white, no color at all. It was pristine, clean, white, sterile. Didn't feel at home at all in this place, although it was clean. And there was employees around there working, and our guide in the building was the character of a friend of mine from South Africa, who was a really nice person when I knew her in South Africa. But in this building, she's the boss. She's the boss of this structure. And you could see that every employee, every person in this white building just hated her. She was a bitch. She was controlling. She managed everything. It was that same character of that security as you went in, this censorship, everybody afraid to say something, always talking behind the boss's back, trying to hide things, but really, really a lot of unhappiness and disgust of this place, despite it being clean and they all have jobs. So those are the first two dreams, and this connection to South Africa in both of those dreams. Let me go and talk about what meaning I got out of those first in terms of those true dreams, and then I'll come to the third dream, which was very much related and a very important dream, because it's another more hopeful version of the world that we're creating, and the dream that I hope to create and trust that the world will create in all of the disruption, which I'm going to talk about. So the first dream, again, I was trying to figure this out. I was thinking, South Africa, what the heck is that about? And why is this place so dark? Dreams often have this symbolism pulled from past experiences that can help you figure things out. So an experience sometime in the past will be pulled into a dream to help you understand the symbolism of that. My experience in South Africa many, many years ago, my first experience in South Africa was the evening I got there, or the next day, my sponsor, the woman in the second dream that I just talked about, a really nice woman, not the bitch that I talked about, she decided to take me and show me around Johannesburg, and we went down to the center of Joburg, and this was a place that nobody was really supposed to go at that time. I don't know what it's like now, but we drove down there. It was falling down, decrepit, very poor. There was fires lit in the streets for people huddling around them to stay warm. You could sense there was a lot of darkness and crime around there. I remember one tall building there, which was an old skyscraper that used to be occupied by some business, but now it was completely derelict and empty, and squatters lived in the various rooms within this high-rise, no elevator. They'd have to walk up all the stairs to go to their residence, carrying their water, etc. It was a very dark place and scary place in lots of ways, because when we drove through, my friend, my sponsor, told me to hide everything that could look valuable in the car underneath the seat so they couldn't see anything through the windows. And they were looking through the windows as we were driving by. And she explained that if they saw something, they might signal someone at the next stoplight to get the stuff inside, maybe break our windows and reach inside, pull us out of the car to steal the valuable things that the spotters saw before this. So this wasn't a nice place, and it wasn't a place where many South Africans would go to. It was a dangerous place, even in the daytime. At nighttime, you just wouldn't go through there. It was not night. So after this experience, I went back to the hotel room and I connected with that experience and started to weep and cry for about an hour. And I could feel this apartheid. And that's what this experience was about, and the dream was about. This apartheid meaning separation, this deep separation. So they had overcome the race apartheid in South Africa, but they had recreated another apartheid. Everybody there went from compound that was fenced in and protected to the next compound to keep safe. And there was this deep separation between still and whites and blacks and rich and poor. And it was very symbolic for the world to me of this deep sense of separation. And I just cried. Here, the cradle of humanity, supposedly all of our genetics come out of the south of Africa. And if they could not work out and come into unity and cooperation with each other, what hope was there for the world? And I wept. And I wept. Back to the dream, the symbolism was about that separation. Through our past 100 years or so in the industrial age, the age of technology for humanity, we've grown more and more and more into separation, into the left brain thinking, the masculine control-based, like an unhealthy masculine control-based, technology-based society. And we're experiencing the breakdown of that world everywhere. That mall represented those technological structures that we've created, those beautiful malls that we would go and shop in and consume and buy stuff in order to be happy. And here in the dream, this prophetic dream, everything is crumbling. And we can see the early stages of that crumbling, because the institutions, the health institutions, politics, you see the polarization, the fracturing of communities, the blame and shame, etc. on the internet. Everything, if you feel like I feel and see what I see, is crumbling around us. It's decaying. It's not sustainable. It was beautiful as it lasted. There was color there, and the color is gradually being contracted. There's still rooms where there's color. There's still maybe some hope in there, but that civilization that we built up and that technology, consumerism, I think the mall represents consumerism, is unsustainable and is dying. Maybe even the money, the rand at the time, and when I was in South Africa, the exchange, I would get a lot of rand for $1, and you needed to use a lot of currency at that time relative to dollars. And maybe the monetary system is also falling and decaying with inflation and things like this. We can see that each dollar or rand is becoming of less value. So then the second dream. What's the second dream about? Also South Africa. So South Africa, also apartheid, also a story of separation. And another world. There's the other world that's crumbling, still there. And this new world, this pristine world. And this is a technological world, but this is an AI world. This is a digital media. This is this surveillance state, which is highly controlled, censored, and everybody has to stand in line, very controlled. So if you're going to enter this world, which is coming, also prophetic, it's here, we see it. We see it coming with the AI and the controls and the monitoring, the totalitarian state perhaps, controlling our money supply, controlling what we can buy or spend. This world is coming into being. And probably from some of the people that will buy into this world and create this world, thinking that, wow, with all the destruction happening, we have to control things. So it's a fear-based world to create a place of put some control on this so everything doesn't fall apart, perhaps. And maybe it's really a big scam so that the rich gets richer and the populace doesn't. But there's probably some good intentions there, because if everything goes into chaos, then what'll happen? Let's put in a different money supply. Let's control everything. Let's control speech, what people can say. Let's have very bureaucratic laws. Let's sterilize the whole world and control the whole world, and then everybody will be happy. This is in a sense, the great reset. You'll own nothing and you'll be happy, but you won't be happy in that promise. The employees of this sterile world were not happy. I was not happy there. So here's the two alternative worlds that are coming into being. One, the destruction and the decay of the consumeristic world that's unsustainable on our planet, and the reaction to that, the fear reaction to that, or the dream of the utopian minded technologists that they can save the world by building a AI machine that can put everything in order, because human beings can't. And that's not a colorful world. That's a sterilized world, and not a happy world either. So don't believe the promises of the AI world. That's not the place to go. But where is the place to go? What hope is there? What choices do we have? We can choose to hang out in the remnants of the mall, listen to the music. It's not a bad alternative in some ways, as long as there's still music there. Or we can buy into the technological world and get completely entrapped in this white, sterile society, which wants to come into being in some fashion. But both of those worlds are based on separation. So what was the third dream? In the third dream, I'm telling this friend about this room that I'd been into before, which was a cool room, really, in a sense, playful, magic in that room. And there was a doorway with a window, and I pointed in the window. I'm not sure what's in there. There's a couple other rooms. But last time there was some moose in there that I was petting. I didn't look up symbolism of moose and why moose was there. But in any case, there was no moose when we entered the room this time. So we go into the room, and here twin calves have just been born. Just these beautiful young calves. They just been born, just as we entered the room. So they still had the fluid, the birth fluid around them. They were wet. They were shiny. And this one calf approached me. I assume the second twin went to my friend, and it came, and it was wanting so much affection. It was like this puppy dog just wanted to be petted and rubbed and licking my hands and rubbing my knees. It was like, notice me, I'm here. And these calves were black and white calves, like a Jersey cow. They were this mixed and pattern of white and black, the dark and white together, whole in this little being of a calf. And so fun, so playful, such a rich experience. There was another calf there next to my leg, which was an old calf. I was surprised to see that it wanted some attention too, and occasionally I'd give some attention to this other calf, but it was an old calf that had never grown up. It was green in color, so maybe it was moving out of my life or our life. I'm not sure what it meant fully, but maybe it was some of the other focuses that I had or we had in terms of spirituality or something like this. But most of my attention was drawn to the new calf, and this other one kind of was in a place of letting go with some attention. So what does this third dream mean? This third dream to me is the birth of a third way that's coming up through the middle. A choice, a beautiful choice for each of us to come into unity. The black and white is this integration of the white and dark shadows that we have maybe disowned, that we bring them back into our wholeness and own all of our being and the way we show up, all of our gifts, and bring those gifts into the world. So it's about the integration. It's about an integral world where there's complete love, acceptance, caring, trust, affection, giving and receiving. This new world that was not based on separation, but based on unity. This is the place that felt home, and this calf was born, coming into its new home, and it's already been born. It is there. I see it in the world. Perhaps you see it also. It's something that wants our attention. Unity wants our attention. These newborn calves, the twin, to me is an emphasis of this world. This is important. This is an important attraction to pay attention, because this is an alternative between the white and the world of AI and this utopian, this technological utopian world, and the derelict past of consumerism, materialism. This is a whole place. This calf is inviting us to be born again, in a sense, into this new world. And the cow is a holy animal in many traditions. It can represent the divine mother or divine feminine. So it's this caring world. And I notice myself nurturing, as if I'm a child, this calf coming in. So there's this sense of innocence. It could have been a lamb also representing innocence. It represents love, a loving society, as opposed to what currently we can see in our future. So, in conclusion, there is this current world that's dissolving and dying. Don't hang on to that. There's not much life left there. If you hang on, there's just decay and fear, anxiety, and other chaos in this place, entropy, as the mall falls down. I encourage you not to get attracted or step too far into the AI technical world. Don't get sucked in to the promise of that, because that is a non-soulful world. Has a lack of spirit. It's a controlling world. You might feel safe for a while, but you won't be happy. It's still an external world of projection and control and censorship. There's no freedom there. It's a collapse of individual and collective freedom. And then there's this amazing third world that wants to be born. That's an integrated world. That is what all my work has been about. The shadow work, and to some extent, some of the belief work and things I did before was about that. Maybe that's the green calf that I'm also letting go of, because the shadow work, the integration work, the love work is really important. And then the second part of my work is cohering community. That's about looking at the polarization within our communities, forming small, deep, trusting circles where together we can build that capacity to step into this new world, which the calf is showing us, this integrated world where we care, trust, and love each other. And together we co-create and discern into what wants to get created amongst us. So this world of circle, where individuals are whole, the circle is whole, and there's a level of insight that's beyond what any one of us could see, a collective insight dropping in on creating this whole world full of a sense of oneness and home. And these interconnected circles corresponding with each other in wholeness and rebuilding society from the bottom up. That project is called Cohering Community. And I meet people almost every day online that have similar visions of oneness, of bringing things together, from the wholeness of the individual to the wholeness of small groups to the oneness of society. Not a top-down society, but a hierarchical, a self-organized group of people operating from their gifts in service to the world. Join me in Cohering Community. Let's dream together. Let's dream in the new world. Let's nurture the calf that's already been born. Let's come together to see what powers are possible, what possibilities can arise